It's your boy Big Baby. Support sporting icons for latest boxing news. Cheeseburger.
So unless something drastic happens between Anthony Joshua involving Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury or Dillian Whyte, then it looks like Big Baby Jarrell Miller will be next for Anthony Joshua. And I understand a lot of people are unhappy with that fight because they want Deontay Wilder. They want a Tyson Fury. But as I said before, how can you get these people in the ring if they're unwilling to fight him? Personally, I think Tyson Fury would fight Anthony Joshua, but he wants to rectify that draw against Wilder because he got screwed on the decision of that one. He should have won that fight. I think that's pretty obvious to most people, right? Now, Big Baby Jarrell Miller is highly ranked across all sanctioning bodies, all kind of ranking systems. So whether you agree with rankings, personally, I don't myself, but whether you agree with them or not, they're there for a reason, okay? So this will be, ever since Anthony Joshua took on Dillian Whyte and then become IBF world champion by defeating Charles Martin, he has fought top 10 opponents right the way through up to the present day, with probably the only exception may be Eric Molina. But again, he may have been ranked in the top 10. I just don't remember it. I really don't. I think that was a cherry pick and nothing wrong with it, okay? But his last couple of fights, Alexander Povetkin, was ranked number 3 in the world. Okay, a guy that Deontay Wilder avoided. He should have fought. Povetkin had something in his system. So Wilder jumped on the very first plane from Sheffield all the way back to Alabama. The fight should have went ahead. It was within the legal limit. As I said before, Povetkin should never had anything in his system anyway. But still, he took on Povetkin. And before then, unification, something Wilder's never done, against Joseph Parker, who was ranked, what, number 3 in the world. Why? Because he was WBO world champion. So him taking on Jarrell Miller is another top 10 opponent. Again, something that Wilder just doesn't do. In fact, he's only done it in the last 2 fights. One against Luis Ortiz because he got forced into it by Steven Espinoza. The other one is Tyson Fury, who took off, what, the best part of 2.5, 3 years out, fought 2 cab drivers and then got in over Wilder and embarrassed Wilder. Okay? But Joshua consistently takes on top 10. Okay, so if we were to look at all the rankings, WBO, Big Baby Jarrell Miller is ranked number 4 in the WBO. In the WBA, he's ranked number 2. And if he doesn't fight Joshua, he's set to take on Trevor Bryan for the right to take on Manuel Charr for the WBA regular world title. Okay, so he's currently ranked number 2. As far as the IBF goes, he could have been number 1, but he decided to not fight Kubrat Pulev. He didn't want to go to Bulgaria. Listen, one thing we know about Miller is he doesn't want to travel. Okay, he just doesn't. Okay, he's had opportunities before, take on Dillian Whyte. He didn't do it. He could have went to Bulgaria, took on Kubrat Pulev for the right to be the IBF mandatory. Didn't do it. Okay, but had he took on Kubrat Pulev and beaten him, he would be number 1, which is why he's not currently ranked in the IBF. He's also not ranked in the WBC because he pulled himself out of the WBC clean boxing program. In other words, you have to be registered with VADA all year round. Miller didn't want to do it. He's got his own reasons. He's already done video with that on IFL TV as for his reasons why. Personally, listen, I've said before, you see, Miller, he keeps calling out Wilder and how he wants Wilder, and I'll say it now, as I said back then, you can't fight Wilder unless you're part of the WBC. You have to be ranked top 15, okay? So him calling out Wilder was a complete waste of time. But right before he took on Marius Wack, he was registered with the WBC clean boxing program, and he was ranked number 6 at the time on the WBC. He then defeated Marius Wack and then just fell off the WBC rankings because he wasn't part of the WBC clean boxing program. He's now had a couple of wins since then. Listen, not the greatest of opposition. I don't know why the fight with Boxton Dinu happened or anything, but either way, he has had a few fights, and him beating Marius Wack plus a couple more would have propelled him up, and he'd probably be like number 2 or maybe number 3 in the WBC. Okay, so he's highly ranked across all of the sanctioning bodies. As I said, WBC, IBF, that's his own doing, okay? But had he been part of the clean boxing program, he'd be ranked number 2 or number 3 in WBC. Had he have fought Kubrat Pulev, he'd be number 1 in the IBF, okay? Again, let's look at some so-called unbiased ones, because we know that the sanctioning bodies can be bought, that's for sure. And Miller hasn't fought the best of opposition. In fact, he's took on 2 guys that Wilder took on. Johan Duhaupas and Gerald Washington. Two guys that Wilder should never have given WBC titles to, shots to, but he did, because that's what Wilder always does. He cherry picks. Hence the reason why people call Wilder a cherry picker, right? But Miller, he has fought these guys. He's also fought Thomas Adamek. And listen, as I said, not the best of opposition in the world. Let's not hide behind it, okay? But he's been fighting regularly, and that helps with rankings. Otherwise, what are the rankings for? Now, on BoxRec, he's currently ranked number 6 in the world. Number 6. And if you was to look at all the opponents out of the top 10, is there anybody there that you would put money on to beat Jarrell Miller? Probably not, to be fair. Probably not. But either way, he's ranked number 6 on BoxRec, which cannot be bought. You cannot buy your way into a ranking on there. And in the Ring magazine, he's currently ranked number 9 in the world. So Miller is ranked very, very highly, and this is yet another one for Joshua. So not only is he going to take on another top 10 ranked heavyweight, but he's also going to travel to America. Again, something that Wilder hasn't done. Because whatever Wilder does, he gets a pass for, okay? But whatever Joshua does, there's criticism. So if Wilder and Fury are refusing to fight him at 40%, in fact, Wilder's not even responding to emails. And in fact, he's threatening to not fight Joshua for the next 2 years. That's not a freeze out. That's called a duck, okay? A duck, because he's scared to death, okay? So if he can't fight these two guys, and if he can't fight Dillian Whyte, who else is he going to fight? Who better than Big Baby Jarrell Miller? What? The only ones who are ranked higher than him are Luis Ortiz. Well, he's ranked higher than him on the Ring magazine, but that's the only one, okay? But if you fought Luis Ortiz, he lost only 2 fights ago. So why would Luis Ortiz be there? Who else? What, a rematch with Povetkin because he's ranked higher than Miller? So again, Miller, undefeated American heavyweight. Undefeated. And for those of you who are Wilder fans and based in America, if you're saying that Miller is gash and he's garbage and whatever, then isn't that worrying for you guys that you guys are not producing the heavyweights? Considering that your best heavyweight is Deontay Wilder, a guy who is known as a cherry picker, a guy who is known to have taken the long way around, a guy who is known to have avoided all the top fighters, and he's continuously doing it. Again, he took on Tyson Fury because he had no choice, in the sense of he needed a marquee name on his resume, and he thought he was going to walk through Tyson Fury, and it backfired on him spectacularly. But he's going to be given another crack at the whip. So Miller is a top 10 heavyweight. Don't matter how you look at it. As I said, people would prefer Wilder, but Wilder just keeps ducking. He won't answer phone calls. He won't answer emails. He won't do anything. So what is it that Joshua's supposed to do? What's he supposed to do? Just give Wilder whatever? Look, he's offering him 40% with a guaranteed minimum earning of $15 million. But 40% of however much this fight will generate. And a guaranteed rematch. So what is it that Joshua's supposed to do? I don't understand. What is it that he's supposed to do? Again, people say, well, he should just up his offer to Dillian Whyte. Okay, fair enough. But when there was talk like it could really happen between him and Dillian Whyte, guess what? People were crapping all over that fight. Why do we want to see that fight for? We've already seen that fight. He already stopped Dillian Whyte. Why do we need to see that again? Even though I told you guys that Dillian Whyte of today is not Dillian Whyte of 2015, right? And all the Wilder protectors out there have been chastising Dillian Whyte for the past year or two. Chastising him. Why? Because he's been calling out Wilder. How dare you call out Wilder? You haven't done this. Even though Wilder, how did he get his WBC title shot? By beating Jason Gavin. Let's compare Jason Gavin to Big Baby Jarrell Miller, shall we? Miller has never been stopped. Miller has never been defeated. Gavin has had numerous losses and numerous stoppages on his resume. Same against when he fought Audley Harrison and many others. But, you see, Joshua is in that situation of damned if you do, damned if you don't. So hopefully now, Dillian Whyte will go take on Dominic Breazeale. He'll become mandatory. Then he'll take on Tyson Fury for the title. And then the winner will go fight Joshua. But right now, what's Joshua supposed to do? If Wilder just continues to duck and he continues to have people protecting him, because he's had it all his career. And even now, these very same people have been saying how all we want is undisputed. We don't care about money. We don't care about that. And suddenly now they're all chartered accountants and all agreeing with Wilder. No, you shouldn't be fighting Joshua. No, you shouldn't. Gutless cowards. That's all they are. Anyway, so Joshua, if he takes on Big Baby Jarrell Miller, which hopefully that'll be officially announced soon, hopefully this week, according to Eddie Hearn and whoever else, then again, that is another top 10 rated heavyweight. Drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, and of course subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.